the Book of Enoch, the Ancient Sumerians, and the mind-blowing yet undeniable connection that they share in 3 minutes or less. Let's get to it. Now, first things first, let's get a quick breakdown into the Book of Enoch, which is a first-person account from the great-grandfather of Noah, Enoch, describing his sci-fi-like journey to the heavens. Basically, Enoch was taken to the heavens by the angels, he saw some shit, learned some shit, most of which is fucking mind-blowing, then returned to Earth and wrote that shit down. And here's the thing, up until 384 AD, it was a part of the original biblical scripture. However, the church not only had it removed, but destroyed every copy in existence. Luckily for us, however, they missed a few discovered nearly 2,000 years later within the Dead Sea Scrolls. Now, here's where I blow your goddamn mind, because despite the fantastic nature of this book and the controversial contradictions, I'm gonna prove it was true, the author was real, his grandson was too, and so were the fallen angels. Check this out, an ancient Sumerian tablet that dates back to around 1700 BC, predating both the Dead Sea Scrolls by over 1400 years, and the story of Utnapishtim, which is found within the Epic of Gilgamesh by over 400 years. So, obviously, it's older than both, which is significant because once translated, scholars discovered a story that mirrors that from the Book of Genesis, more specifically, the story of Noah's Ark that the Sumerians called the Epic of Zayasudra, which, just like the Book of Genesis, begins with the creation of everything, including man, animals, and the founding of the first cities, quickly transitioning to the wrath of an angry god who sends a flood to destroy everything except for one, King Zayasudra, who was instructed by the god Enki to build a really big fucking boat, which he does, surviving the 7-day storm and the flood before coming to rest on the top of a mountain. Now, let's take a closer look at this King Zayasudra, because not only is his name found within several ancient Mesopotamian texts, but it's actually found on the famous Sumerian kings list as, and I am not making this up, the last king before a great flood, who ruled for 10 sars, which translates to 3,600 years or 36,000 years depending on the scholar you ask. The point, he was fucking old. But then again, so was Noah, who lived to be 950 years old, and just like Noah's great-grandfather Enoch, who was the 7th from Adam, Zayasudra as well had a great-grandfather, only his name was Dharana, and he was the 7th of the pre-dynastic kings, ruling for 43,000 years. Again, old. But again, so was Enoch, who lived 365 years before he walked with God. Then he was no more, because God took him, which, believe it or not, is exactly mirrored within an ancient Semitic text detailing a myth about Dharana and his journey to the heavens where he saw some shit, learned some shit, and then wrote that shit down. Now, let's talk about those fallen angels, because not only are they featured within the Book of Enoch, but the Book of Genesis as well, described as the sons of God who went into the daughters of humans, who bore children to them, who both books call the Nephilim, who were giants that were apparently just the worst. So, they had to go, along with the fallen angels who fathered them, who we can actually see right here, except the Sumerians didn't call them angels. They called them Anunnaki, winged deities who, according to legend, came to Earth, imparted knowledge, gifted technology, and banged the human women. So, to sum everything up, Noah is actually King Zayasudra, Enoch is really Dharana, the fallen angels are the Anunnaki, and the Sumerians are the descendants of the survivors. But hey, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. What do you think?